It's the end of May, which means let's do our wrap-up video for what I read in April. This seems to be the pattern here, and if this is how it has to be, I have given up control to it and will let it be this way. I read 2 books in the month of April, one on my Kindle and one in a physical copy. The first was called An Impetuous Miss by Mary Chase Comstock. I have my little notes here. And that was the 6th book I read of the year. And it was written in 2013, but it's trying to emulate Jane Austen. It's trying to give the Bridgerton vibes. So if you're into stuff like that, then this might strike your fancy, or you're going to read it and go, man, this is a poor copycat vibe. It can go either way, I think. Now, I've read Jane Austen. I have not read or watched Bridgerton and things like that, so I have no frame of reference. I'm just guessing. I read this from March 19th through April 4th, and I downloaded it originally as an Amazon Prime free read, or I was just searching for free books to download. It could go either way, because I did that a lot on my lunch breaks at work. And I downloaded it on October 19th, 2014. I'm just trying to read older things on my Kindle to see if it still holds up in whatever mindset I was back then. So when I read the synopsis back then, I thought, ooh, do I still feel ooh about it? Well, I gave it a 3 out of 5. Now, my Kindle is so old, I can't connect it to the internet in order to bring up websites. Doesn't have that capability, so we're gonna go off of my brain, remembering and after rereading the synopsis of the book. And it is about Catherine, and she was going to be a spinster. She had no interest in men, no interest in romance, no interest in ever marrying, and she was headstrong, not your average lady at the time. She did things her own way. She did not watch her tongue, and this was very against this time period. And she lived with her grandmother, who had passed away, and her grandmother was also quirky and supportive of her granddaughter's way of life, but in her will said she would not come into money unless she attended the London scene to maybe find a man every year until she finds a man. And as long as she did that, she would have her money, you know, every year, however it was bestowed upon her to live. And this angered and upset Catherine because she did not want to put herself on the market like that. She just wanted to live her life content at home, reading. But at a shindig at her house, she met somebody who happened to always be showing up in the London scene, and he was a self-proclaimed bachelor, and he never planned on marrying either because he just wanted to be his own man and never felt anything to any woman before he met Catherine. And then Catherine had stirrings for him. Is this book predictable? Absolutely. Would I be giving any spoilers away if I told you how it ended? No, because I'm pretty sure you're watching this going, I know how it ends. So really, you're just on a journey with them to see how it unfolds to the ending you can predict. It was a 3 out of 5 type of read. It was like 200 pages, a short read, and it just was. It was one of those frustrating reads. Could have been a short story, but of course, things have to happen in order for them to come to terms with their devotion to one another. So, it was okay. The next book I read in April was a physical copy, and this is my 7th book of the year, and it was Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. I picked this up, I think it was at a used library book sale, and if not, then it was a thrift store. And I admit I did not know anything about the history this book explores. I have the synopsis on the book flap. It's a little long, so I'm going to try to just jump around to it, but it is a dual year type of book. Takes place in 1939 and then present day. But present day for this book is, let's see, shall we? This was from 2017. So present day 2017, which kind of plays into technology when you're reading this in terms of what was even available in 2017 when trying to find genealogy information and things like that. So sometimes you might read this and go, why couldn't you just do XYZ to find who you're looking for? But again, 2017 technology with stuff like that is very different than 2025 even. But anyway, so it says Memphis, 1939. 12-year-old Rill Foss and her 4 younger siblings live a magical life aboard their family's Mississippi River shanty boat. But when their father must rush their mother to the hospital one stormy night, Rill is left in charge until strangers arrive in force. Wrenched from all that is familiar and thrown into a Tennessee Children's Home Society orphanage, the Foss children are assured that they will soon be returned to their parents, but they quickly realize the dark truth. At the mercy of the facility's cruel director, Rill fights to keep her sisters and brother together in a world of danger and uncertainty. So that's that, information for that timeline. And then in present day Aiken, South Carolina, born into wealth and privilege, Avery Stafford seems to have it all: a successful career as a federal prosecutor, a handsome fiancé, and a lavish wedding on the horizon. But when Avery returns home to help her father weather a health crisis, a chance encounter leaves her with uncomfortable question and compels her to take a journey through her family's long-hidden history on a path that will ultimately lead either to devastation or redemption. So this is based on America's notorious real-life scandal involving Georgia Tann, who was the director of a Memphis-based adoption organization that kidnapped and sold poor children to wealthy families all over the country. And that was the little part of history I didn't know about. So I read this book from April 5th to April 30th, and I set like a reading quota every day, and sometimes I exceeded it because I was just saying, okay, what's happening, what's going on? And I will say the present day part was a little Lifetime movie feeling, and I think it was just because it was trying really hard to emulate the career woman who is also struggling with her past and who she wants to be, and love and success and her place in her family. And I find when we're also writing about technology, we use terms like she typed in the website address, and that just isn't natural sounding. Things like that kind of just like nails on a chalkboard for my brain. That's just a personal thing. While the back in time portions of the book were so hard to read, putting myself in the position as a parent going through this, putting myself in the position of a child, I would have been content just chronologically reading this book from like 1939 to present day, following more so Rill's point of view and things like that. I think I would have preferred that, and that's not to say how this book was done is bad. It's just, I think, a preference I would have had. The portions of Avery's personal life were kind of unnecessary. I know we were trying to drive along who she was, what her status was in society in comparison to the demographic that was in the 1939 portion. I understand it. It just wasn't necessary. We could have just followed a woman discovering her past. And the romance portion, also unnecessary. I kind of feel like we were just adding in words with those little subplots. But as a genealogy buff, as a history buff, as a sleuthing trying to find the answers to mysteries, I was intrigued and enjoyed it. It also made me, after I finished reading this, read up on Georgia Tann and what went down and how long it lasted. Just absolutely frightening. Just how it's hard to believe when this was put to a stop was as recent as it was. It sounds so barbaric, so unnatural, so illegal, that it's mind-boggling that it went on as long as it did. I don't think I said it yet. I gave this book a 4 out of 5. And I have one quote from this book. And I just double-checked. No quotes from the first book, The Impetuous Miss. Take that as you will. So up next will be the one quote. And that's it. That's it for April. So probably end of June for May. We'll see. But anyway, I hope you are enjoying what you're reading. Let me know what you're reading. And happy reading. Until next time. Bye.